So he's saying the fact that you desire something indicates that it's not fully alive for you yet. It hasn't become embodied as a living reality for you yet, or you would feel satiated. You wouldn't want it anymore. And also, the fact that you desire is actually hopeful. The fact that you feel an inclination, you feel called or attracted to a desire, is actually a hopeful prophecy telling you that it can embody itself. Welcome back to another episode of Daily Neville. I am your host, Josiah Brandt. Daily Neville is all about breaking down the teachings of Neville Goddard, making them easy to understand, easy to digest, easy to apply in 20 minutes or less. Today, we're continuing with Neville's famous book, Your Faith is Your Fortune. And this chapter is titled The Breath of Life. Let's go ahead and dive right in. The breath of life. Did the prophet Elijah really restore to life the dead child of the widow? This story, along with all other stories of the Bible, is a psychological drama which takes place in the consciousness of man. The widow symbolizes every man and woman in the world. The dead child represents the frustrated desires and ambitions of man. The prophet Elijah symbolizes the God power within man, or specifically, man's awareness of being. The story tells us that the prophet took the dead child from the widow's bosom and carried him into an upper room. As he entered this upper room, he closed the door behind them. Placing the child upon a bed, he breathed life into him. Returning to the mother, he gave her the child and said, "Woman, thy son liveth." Man's desires can be symbolized as the dead child. The mere fact that he desires is positive proof that the thing desired is not yet a living reality in his world. He tries in every conceivable way to nurse this desire into reality, to make it live, but finds in the end that all attempts are fruitless. We're going to go ahead and start right there. This is a topic that we've touched on many times in these episodes of Daily Neville. If you have a desire, the mere fact that you are desiring suggests that that thing that you are desiring is not yet fully alive in your world. When you know that you are the person that you desire to be, when you have appropriated the desire and given it to yourself and you're in the state of having, you are the person who has, you no longer desire it. You no longer long after it if that desire has been satisfied. You don't generally continue to desire to eat. You're not typically hungry to continue eating after you have eaten a lovely meal and are satisfied. Now, the hunger will reappear later on, but at the moment of satisfaction, the desire is satiated. And so what Neville is saying here is the mere fact that you feel a desire indicates that your desire is not fully alive in your world yet. Birth has not been given to the satiation of the desire. And so what Neville is saying here is that the dead child is evidence or a symbol of man's desires. And he's saying that the fact that you still desire this thing is positive proof that the desire has not yet become a living reality in your world. Neville continues, most men are not aware of the existence of the infinite power within themselves as the prophet. Now remember, these stories in the Bible are psychological dramas, meaning that they all take place within the mind of man, the consciousness of you and I. So just as our dead child and consciousness is our desires that we're attempting to breathe life into, Elijah is a principle in our own awareness. It's the prophet, and it is the God power, the infinite power that exists within us. Neville says they, meaning most men, remain indefinitely with a dead child in their arms, not realizing that the desire is a positive indication of limitless capacities for its fulfillment. So he's saying the fact that you desire something indicates that it's not fully alive for you yet, hasn't become embodied as a living reality for you yet, or you would feel satiated, you wouldn't want it anymore. And also, the fact that you desire is actually hopeful. The fact that you feel an inclination, you feel called or attracted to a desire is actually a hopeful prophecy telling you that it can embody itself. It is a possibility for you, or you wouldn't want it. You wouldn't feel the need for it. You wouldn't feel attracted. You wouldn't feel the compulsion of desire if it were not a possibility for you. But until you give it the breath of life, your desires are as the dead child of the widow. Neville says, let man once recognize that his consciousness is a prophet who breathes life into all that he is conscious of being, and he will close the door of his senses against his problem and fix his attention solely on that which he desires, knowing that by so doing, his desires are certain to be realized. Close the door. Okay, so the story says the prophet, your awareness, took the dead child, the desire that appeared it wasn't going to be fulfilled, but actually contains a promise of fulfillment within it, to an upper room, which is, of course, your consciousness, closes the door against the senses, which would tell you that you don't have what you desire, and breathed life into the desire, meaning gave it the feeling of fulfillment, gave it that life force energy, gave it that gift of life, which is what the infinite power within you and I has the capacity to do. So you will close the door of the senses against the problem, fix your attention solely on that which you desire, knowing that by doing so, your desires are certain to be realized. So this Bible story is actually a recipe. You will discover recognition to be the breath of life, for you will perceive, as you consciously claim yourself to be now, expressing and possessing all that you desire to be and have, you will be breathing the breath of life into your desire. The quality claimed for the desire, in a way unknown to you, will begin to move and become a living reality in your world. So the child becomes alive because you breathe the breath of life into the desire, which is the child in this story. And the child begins to move and becomes a living reality in your world. Your desire becomes born in flesh and becomes a living reality in your world that you experience with your senses. So you went up into the upper room and you closed yourself off from your senses that would tell you that you were not the person you desired to be. You breathed life into your desire, and then you leave that upper room knowing that that child will live and move and have a being and a reality, a beingness and a reality in the earthly sense where you can interact with it as a quality using your senses. Neville concludes this chapter by saying, yes, the prophet Elijah lives forever as your limitless consciousness of being. The widow lives as your limited consciousness of being, and the child lives as that which you desire to be. Short chapter from Neville here, revealing what the breath of life is and how it is illustrated in this compelling story about the prophet Elijah. I know that this was revealing for you in some way, and I invite you to sit and meditate upon this breath of life. And when you are ready, to become a doer of the word, to go into your own upper room, to close the door of your own senses, and to breathe life into all that you desire to be, so that when you leave that upper room, your desires have been satiated. That's all for this episode of Daily Neville. In the next, we are continuing with this book, and we will get into the metaphysical, esoteric interpretation of the story of Daniel in the lion's den. Until then, imagine wisely, my friends, and I will see you all in the next. If you're like many of the subscribers on my YouTube channel, you may be asking yourself, is there a level 2 to these teachings? If all of this daily Neville and law of attraction and law of assumption is level 1, what's level 2? What is the advanced application of these ideas? I'm here to tell you there is a level 2 to these ideas, and I'm teaching it right now here on YouTube for my private mentorship group. If you're interested in joining a small focused community of creators who are really taking their application of these ideas to the next level and igniting their potential in new and profound ways, I invite you to tap the link in the video description below that takes you to my YouTube membership. If you join the membership, you get access to advanced lessons that take these ideas beyond the introductory, beyond the basics, to a whole new level of advanced application. Check out the description below, tap that join link, and I look forward to seeing you in the members area. Imagine wisely, my friends.